Airbus stopped building this plane in 2021. No more orders, no more factory line, done forever. And yet, in 2026, some airlines are spending billions of dollars just to keep it flying for another 20 years. At the same time, Boeing's replacement for its biggest twin-engine jet is 6 years late and still hasn't carried a single paying passenger. So which one actually wins the skies right now? The 4-engine giant that refuses to die, or the 2-engine workhorse everyone actually wants? Let's break this down piece by piece.
We're talking about the Boeing 777 and the Airbus A380, the two biggest passenger jets flying today. One is a double-deck superjumbo that can carry more people than almost anything else in the sky. The other is a long, narrow twin-engine jet that has quietly become the backbone of long-haul flying all over the world. In 2026, these two planes are in completely different places in their story. One is finished being built, and the other is about to get a huge new upgrade. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why airlines are choosing sides and which one you actually want to be sitting in on your next long flight.
Let's start with the basic story of each plane, because this tells you everything about where they stand today.
The Airbus A380 first flew back in 2005, and it was supposed to be the future of air travel. Airbus bet that airlines wanted bigger planes flying between huge hub airports. That bet only partly paid off. Airlines like Emirates loved it, but most other carriers found it too big, too expensive to fill, and too costly to maintain. Airbus built only 251 of them before shutting the whole program down in 2021. That is a tiny number for a commercial jet program.
Compare that to the Boeing 777, which first flew in 1994 and has sold over 1,700 aircraft across its lifetime. The 777 was built to do almost the opposite job. Instead of being one giant showpiece plane for a few airlines, it was built to be flexible, cheap enough to fly on medium routes, and efficient enough to fly on the longest routes on Earth. That difference in philosophy from day one is exactly why one plane is dead and the other is still being ordered by airlines around the world in 2026.
Now let's talk about size, because this is the most obvious difference, and it actually explains a lot of the real-world problems each plane runs into. The A380 is a monster. It's about 239 feet long, with a wingspan of almost 262 feet, and two full passenger decks stacked on top of each other. A typical 3-class version seats around 525 people, but airlines have squeezed in as many as 853 seats in an all-economy layout. That is more people than some ferries carry.
The Boeing 777-300ER, the most common 777 flying today, is about 242 feet long, so almost the same length as the A380, but with a wingspan of only 213 feet and just one deck. It normally seats around 396 passengers in a 3-class layout, up to about 550 in a dense single-class setup. Here's the real-world impact of that size gap. The A380 needs special gates, reinforced runways in some airports, and extra time to load and unload 2 decks of passengers. Airports had to spend real money just to handle this plane. The 777 fits into almost any gate built for a large jet, which means airlines can send it to way more airports without any extra infrastructure cost. That single fact is a huge reason why the 777 kept selling long after the A380 stopped.
Next, let's get into engines, because this is where the two planes take completely different approaches to the same problem, and it says a lot about how aircraft design changed over 20 years. The A380 uses 4 engines, either the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 or the Engine Alliance GP 7200, each one producing around 70,000 to 81,000 pounds of thrust. Airbus needed 4 engines because the plane is so big and heavy, with a maximum takeoff weight around 1.27 million pounds. 4 engines also meant Airbus didn't have to build a single engine powerful enough to lift that much weight on its own, which would have been an enormous engineering challenge back when the plane was designed.
The 777 ER takes the opposite approach completely. It uses just two GE90-115B engines, and each one produces up to 115,300 pounds of thrust. That is the single most powerful jet engine ever put on a commercial aircraft, officially recognized as a world record holder. Here's why that matters in the real world. 2 engines instead of 4 means less maintenance, fewer parts that can break, and lower fuel burn per seat because you're not dragging around the weight and drag of 2 extra engines.
Airlines pay for engine maintenance by the hour, and maintaining 4 engines instead of 2 on every single flight adds up to massive extra cost over the life of a plane. This is honestly the single biggest reason airlines have been moving away from 4-engine jets across the entire industry, not just with these 2 planes.
Let's talk about range, because this decides which routes each plane can actually fly. The A380 has a range of about 8,000 nautical miles, which is roughly 14,800 kilometers. The 777-300ER has a slightly shorter range at around 7,370 nautical miles, or about 13,650 kilometers. On paper, the A380 wins this category. But here's the catch that most spec sheets don't tell you. Because the A380 burns so much more fuel per flight with 4 engines and a heavier frame, airlines rarely fly it on routes where every extra hour matters for fuel cost.
Airlines use the A380 mainly on high-demand routes between major hub cities, like Dubai to London or Singapore to Sydney, where they know they can fill almost every one of those 500-plus seats. The 777, because it's cheaper to operate per seat, gets used on a much wider mix of routes, including thinner long-haul routes where you simply can't fill an A380 twice a day. So while the A380 technically flies farther, the 777 is the plane airlines actually trust to make money on more of their route map.
Now here's the part passengers actually care about: the cabin experience.
The A380 is famous for feeling incredibly quiet and stable in the air, mainly because it's so big and heavy that turbulence barely moves it. The upper deck, especially in business and first class, feels almost like a private jet on some airlines, with wider seats and more open space because the upper deck is narrower and airlines use that space for premium cabins.
The 777 cabin tells a very different story, and this is where things get a little controversial. When the 777 first came out, Boeing designed the economy cabin for 9 seats across in a 3-3-3 layout, which gave everyone a comfortable amount of shoulder room. Over the years, almost every airline switched to a 10 across layout instead, squeezing in an extra seat per row using the 3-4-3 layout. Why did they do that? Simple. 1 extra seat per row across hundreds of flights a day adds up to millions of dollars in extra ticket revenue per year per airline. How does that actually feel for you as a passenger? It means tighter elbow room, a narrower seat, and less space to move compared to what the plane was originally designed for. This is one of the most common passenger complaints about the modern 777, and it's a direct result of an airline business decision, not something wrong with Boeing's original engineering. Let's talk about money, because this is where a lot of people get confused.
Airbus listed the A380 at around $445 million before production stopped.
Boeing's list price for a 777-300ER sits around $375 million. Almost nobody pays the full list price. Airlines negotiate huge discounts, sometimes 40 to 50% off, depending on how many jets they order. But the real cost difference isn't just the sticker price, it's what happens after you buy the plane. 4 engines cost roughly double to maintain compared to 2 engines. Bigger planes need more fuel, more ground staff, and longer turnaround times at the gate. Over a 20-year lifespan, these operating costs add up to far more than the purchase price of the aircraft itself. This is exactly why so many airlines that originally ordered the A380, like Air France, Malaysia Airlines, and Qantas, ended up retiring their fleets early or shrinking their orders, while airlines with 777 orders kept expanding them. Finally, let's look at where each plane is heading in 2026, because this is honestly the most important part of the whole story. The Airbus A380 has no successor. Airbus has no plans to build anything like it again, because the economics of a 4-engine superjumbo just don't work for most airlines anymore. Only Emirates truly committed to the plane at scale, and even Emirates is now spending billions of dollars retrofitting its existing A380s with new seats and new entertainment systems just to keep them flying for another decade, because there's nothing else on the market that can move that many people on their busiest routes. Boeing, meanwhile, is finishing certification on the 777X, specifically the 777-9 model, which is expected to get certified later in 2026 with first deliveries in early 2027. The 777X keeps the twin-engine efficiency approach, but adds a longer wingspan for better aerodynamics, with wingtips that actually fold up on the ground so the plane can still fit into normal airport gates. It also uses the GE9X engine, which is even more fuel efficient than the GE90 found on today's 777. Why build folding wingtips? Because a longer straight wing is more efficient in the air, but airports aren't built to handle a wingspan that wide at the gate. So Boeing engineered a way to get the best of both worlds. This is a perfect example of how modern aircraft design is all about solving real airport constraints, not just chasing bigger numbers.
So here's the bottom line. If you want raw size, cabin quiet, and the feeling of flying on a flying hotel, the A380 still wins, and it's not close. But if you're looking at which plane actually makes sense for airlines to keep buying and flying in 2026 and beyond, it's the 777, hands down. The A380 is a plane airlines love flying but hate paying for. The 777 is a plane built from day one to make money on almost every single route it flies. That's exactly why one program is dead and the other is about to get its biggest upgrade in decades.
If you want to see how the upcoming 777X actually compares to today's 777 once it starts flying passengers, subscribe so you don't miss that video.